The removal hearing for the San Mateo County Sheriff is now in its second week. Sheriff Christina Corpus is fighting for her job amid allegations of misconduct and abuse of power. The sheriff disputed those claims when she testified last week, and our Lauren Toms was there as another key witness took the stand today.
As San Mateo County Sheriff Christina Corpus fights to keep her job, the county Monday called one of its most anticipated witnesses, Deputy Carlos Tapia. A 16-year veteran of the force and president of the 500-member deputies union, Tapia's testimony bolstered a key allegation that Corpus retaliated against employees who criticized her and abused her powers as sheriff. On the stand, Tapia described his arrest last November, being taken into custody without a warrant on allegations of time card fraud. Legal analyst Steve Clark says while the incident alone is unlikely to be grounds for her removal, it's an example of a broader theme.
This is the most egregious example of Sheriff Corpus's vindictiveness against her enemies. And I think that's why the county is highlighting it so prominently in their case. But it's not the only one. And they're saying this was a pattern of behavior that Sheriff Corpus would go after her enemies and either transfer, retaliate, or in the case of Tapia, arrest him and publicly humiliate him.
Tapia told a judge he was supposed to be at a labor negotiation that day, but instead was fingerprinted and photographed like a suspect. The district attorney later cleared him of all wrongdoing. Attorneys for Sheriff Corpus pressed Tapia on discrepancies with pay codes used to track his hours served for both the county and for the union, a practice Tapia insisted was done in good faith.
We think that we have presented an effective cross-examination, and we will continue to do so. And when we start with our case, hopefully tomorrow, there will be some additional evidence and the truth will come out.
Under questioning, Tapia described how he voted for and supported the sheriff, but their relationship broke down after fierce disputes on overtime and the influence of her chief of staff, Victor J., whom the county has alleged had a romantic relationship with Corpus, an allegation she has repeatedly denied. Tapia pointed to a union vote of no confidence where more than 96% of deputies said they didn't trust J. after complaints he wore a deputy's uniform and displayed a badge reserved for sworn officers, despite his limited law enforcement experience. One email entered into evidence from June 2024 referenced the impact of J's role in weakening office morale, but Corpus's attorneys say culture change is often met with resistance.
An agency that is set in its ways, that had a recruiting issue, and that had a morale problem, is difficult to turn around and is reluctant to do so.
The hearing is running longer than expected, with Corpus's legal team now preparing to call its own witnesses a day late, including J himself. On Monday, a judge sharply admonished one of Corpus's attorneys for drawn-out questioning of Tapia. A spokesperson for the county says the timing is fairly determined by the court.
But we are still slated to finish up by this Friday.
Even so, Corpus's team is determined she'll keep her job.
The sheriff is upbeat, and we are going to prevail.
And Corpus's fate will be ultimately decided by the Board of Supervisors. They will get a recommendation from a retired Santa Clara County judge after this hearing. Then they will vote on whether she should be removed from office.